You're listening to the Bored to Death Bingecast, talking TV shows and movies in easily digestible chunks. Hello again, ladies and gentlemen, and other assorted gender assignations. Welcome back to the Bored to Death Bingecast. I am Jay, being joined by
Sam,
Chris,
Road,
and the Peanut Gallery is present here as well. Zeke and Kat are not joining us for this one. They went and saw a later showing. We are here to give an after report for Ghostbusters Afterlife, the long-awaited, proper third movie in the Ghostbusters franchise.
yes, which
the only third movie. What are you talking about?
Well,
there is no other third movie but Afterlife.
this is true, but I count that as a different franchise altogether.
Wait,
One that failed.
Wait, I thought the video game was the third movie.
Yes, that's
that was
true.
the third script.
Yeah, there you
One
go.
of the many scripts.
And they sort of adapted aspects of it for this, in a sense.
Which one was my player character? I didn't pick any of those fools.
No, he's in L.A.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, there you go. And if there's any city that's probably got.
And of course, it's needless to say, before we get into things, there are going to be spoilers.
Right.
Multitude of spoilers.
So
we're not one of those places like if you're going to BingeCast and you're going to see a 45-minute video, you're not going to have absent spoilers.
Right. So this is your spoiler warning right now. If you do not want to be spoiled for Ghostbusters Afterlife,
Come back next week.
Yes.
Better yet,
Make
Go
sure
see
I'm
it.
not around.
yeah,
go see it.
yeah, exactly.
Fuck the critics score.
Yes.
I'm going to say that right now. Reading the critics,
Yeah, that
Wait,
critics
wait,
score
their
is
heads
bullshit.
are firmly planted between their ass cheeks.
Wait,
Like
what,
most
what's
critics
the
are.
critic score?
61%. A full 6% lower than 2016.
That's right, because there weren't any queef jokes in it.
There were queef jokes in Answer the Call.
Yeah.
I don't remember those.
Yeah, there were 4 of them.
I must have blocked it out of my memory. Like a lot of
Yeah,
like
Rhodes got what I meant.
But
Hell.
this was
This was a love story.
oh my god, yes.
Oh God.
So
A
much
love
nostalgia.
letter to
The
fans of
fans.
the original. Which some of the people are like, oh, this is just pandering. It's like, where does it fucking end? Where does it end? There's pandering and then homages, but then you pick and choose which is what. Oh, well, it's just sequelitis. It's just going to be the same fucking thing. All right, this is called 1, a new generation. 2, if you paid attention to the fucking movie, this is literally a sequel to 1 and not 2, so 2 didn't exist.
Yeah, I don't understand the hatred for 2.
I don't really understand it either. It's
was
not
because
as good
it-
as the original, I'll say that. Yes,
As far as I can tell, or what I've read, is that it was cranked out because it was trying to continue on
yeah,
the popularity
studio
of
basically
studio.
saying
Wait, the cartoon didn't do that?
well, yeah, the cartoon did it as well, but regardless, I mean, when we were watching in the theater, the moment it started up and the theremins started, I was like, we're in good hands. This is going to be fine.
It wasn't lambasted with a bunch of bullshit poppy songs or a crappy remake.
Nope.
Sorry, Fall Out Boy, I like you and all, but you
I would have
fuck
preferred,
whatever
I
that
would have
was.
preferred, the only other acceptable version of the theme song is the one by Run DMC from Ghostbusters 2.
Yes.
Yeah, I would have
Yeah.
accepted that.
Yeah. But this...
Now I can say my piece.
Oh, Peanut Gallery has some things to say.
Did you finish your sandwich?
So, I want to explain something very clearly. I have never wanted to leave a theater until I saw the 2016 movie. I was this close to standing up and leaving. It was very disrespectful. It was really disgusting, and it felt like a long-ass SNL skit that was horrible that matches the Mario skit that came out a couple months ago.
Not
More
to
than
mention,
a couple months
When
ago, but anyway.
the queef joke came on the screen, Sam would tell you the look on my face. He'll never forget that look. And how close
I had to
was.
literally hold her in her damn seat.
It's like,
I'm
no,
like,
no,
okay,
Bob.
this has got to be the one and only shitty joke
And it's not because
The
I'm-
entire movie was a shitty joke.
Yes, it really
at my
was.
expense, and I didn't like it.
And it's not because they're all women. I don't give a fuck about that. That's
Right.
all
She
that
is a
fucking
woman, so she is
stupid.
allowed to say that.
It is fucking stupid.
As a cis white
But-
male, I
but
am not
makes-
allowed to say anything
What
about
makes
the
me
all-female
kinda mad
thing.
about the whole damn thing is that's the actual last Ghostbuster film I saw with my mom. So
Oh.
I'm like really pissed shit about 2016. So this one, This is a truly love story from the afterlife. I'm pretty sure my mom was sitting up there just squeeing away at every single scene.
She was in the theater with y'all.
She was sitting there with Harold.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
She'd be like, no, my son is sitting there. We gotta watch this.
Yeah.
So please,
It was nice of him to make a cameo too.
Please, if
I know,
you have
right?
not seen it, literally go see it.
Yeah. Stop watching it right now. Go
No,
watch
not 2016. You got to preface this.
Yes.
because
Go
you were
see
on-
Afterlife.
Go see Afterlife. Don't yes, fuck that. No, go see Afterlife. Get that score right back up there because no.
Bad.
Yeah.
This
Answer the
is
call was just bad. It was badly
Beautiful.
written.
I cried 3 times.
Bad.
You did?
Sam cried 3 times.
You did?
I cried.
I admit I got a bit misty eyed at a few points.
I laughed. I cried. It was an all around joyous movie.
Absolutely.
I think we want to keep the ending,
Yes.
even though we are saying this is a spoiler-filled rehash.
All I have to say is, do not leave the theater
Until the
the very, very end of the credits.
Yes.
Completely.
There is a stinger scene, partway through the credits, but then there's another scene at the end, which is very, very nice and touching.
And all I gotta say is, tell them about the Twinkie.
Yeah,
Tell them about the Twinkie.
yeah. Tell them about the Twinkie.
What about the Twinkie?
Twinkie?
Tell me about the Twinkie.
Oh yeah, that was made through like a majority of the film was me just sitting there just quoting the first movie.
Oh yeah, there was so much, so many callbacks to the first movie, but the basic gist of this is some point after the Great Manhattan Cross Rip of 1984, the ghost busting business sort of dried up, and
Well, they defeated the big bad, so
and the
ghosts
and
were no
the
longer-
dimensional wavelengths stabilized, or whatever pseudoscientific explanation you want to give it. And as we found out from Ray later in the movie, Venkman went back to academia, went back to
My hero?
No, like he went back to
I know.
teaching and being a professor or whatever. And
Was he?
and he
really
taught
a
and he
teacher?
taught like business and marketing and stuff, which Venkman was always sort of the salesman of the quartet. Very appropriate given the cartoon had established that his father was a con man. And Winston went into finance.
Which is funny because that's exactly where,
Ernie Hudson.
well,
Oh, Louis Tully.
yeah,
Yeah,
Lewis
'cause-
came from finance, and Ernie made the little crack about money crunching,
Yeah.
and come to find out, guess what he goes into?
And
Money crunching.
became very, very successful. And Ray just sort of went back to being Ray and running his little occult bookshop
Which
You find out in that.
in the closing scene.
well, it turns out, Zedmore has been paying his rent
Yeah.
for him. He's like, oh, he'll make it big someday.
No, he'll turn a profit someday, is what he said, which is not the same thing as making it big.
Yeah, but I really love the fact.
And Janine made a couple of appearances too, which is
Yeah, of course, Janine was always looking out for Egon.
You know what the funny thing is? I thought that Janine was going to be the mom.
same.
I
I
did too.
suspect she is, but they just never.
Cause
They just never quite stayed married or something.
Throughout the movie, not Janine, but
Callie,
Kelly,
the daughter, yeah.
Egon's granddaughter.
No, Phoebe, you mean? Okay.
Yeah. She was always talking about how she was like, her dad was always like, he was never there. He kind of just
No, Phoebe's the little girl. That's the granddaughter.
I got the switch on accident. The daughter was like, he was never there. He was always more invested in science than his actual family. Well,
Right.
it turns out he was trying to prevent the end of the world.
Yep. Which this time, instead of happening in a place like New York, which is more expensive to film in, this time it was in Oklahoma or Canada standing in for Oklahoma because
They
it's
probably
because
could've-
it's cheaper to film in Canada.
They
Probably.
probably could have filmed it out here in Virginia, in like the middle of nowhere, like out in Gum Spring.
Yeah.
That is literally the same area. Nothing but farm and churches and small towns.
It's just and it's in Summerfield, which is this old like mining town, which hasn't really had any sort of mining operations in 70 years.
Yeah, and I like how they threw mention of someone that you only heard about in the original film,
Ivo Shandor,
who literally built the tower.
who built the apartment building
Yeah,
with
and
selenium girders.
By the way,
he would drag the girders straight from this mine
Well,
the way there, just to make sure that he could get
So he could construct
the temple. Basically, he was trying to rule the world, and
he wanted to basically rule alongside Gozer.
yeah,
And we saw how that happened. We saw how that worked out for
Yes.
him.
more on
There
that
could
later.
be only
Yes.
one.
But the movie opens with Egon, who was very carefully. They didn't show his full face during any of that.
I'm sure they're probably looking at it like we
I-
can't afford to do what they did in Star Wars and put his face on your head.
Right.
So
the
we
deepfake technology is not there yet for that.
yeah. So
But I love how they used the shadow. You could tell exactly who it
The
was
glasses,
from
the hair.
shadow, and I really loved how they made that entire opening scene.
But we see him like escaping from the mine in his modified pickup truck, which is sort of like Ecto 2, I suppose. He had clearly made some modifications to it.
I'm pretty sure it's like Ecto 10 at this point. If
Probably.
you go by the cartoon chronology, like there was
we don't know if the cartoon chronology factors into any of
Seeing
it.
as they already skipped out too.
Yeah.
Unfortunately,
But
it kind of makes sense for how they're doing the story in this one. That
Vigo would not be referenced.
yeah.
Especially
Why am I drippings with goo?
yes, especially since they are trying to basically continue on the main premise of
The first film.
Gozer, yeah,
Gozer.
trying to.
And then, of course, the fact that they had they captured too many ghosts.
Well, that's what it was in the first movie.
Right. And again, they still had too many ghosts because, well, don't want to go into that just yet.
But, but Egon, and he has a full ghost trap with him, which he lures something. We don't see exactly what it is. It's all like, it's like mostly invisible.
I'm under the impression he actually captured one of
the terror dogs.
One of the terror dogs, yes.
I mean,
and was luring
Gozer
to the farm, and
the trap failed.
Yeah, the trap failed.
all because
It didn't have enough power.
Well, yeah, but the entire time I was trying to think. I was like, is there just like a massive trap hidden underneath it? No.
The whole farm is the trap.
Yep.
That was pretty damn unique.
Sam, you were about to say something?
Oh no.
Okay. I thought I heard you start to say something, and then at any rate.
But that also explains why he took all the traps and gear that they had.
Yes.
Because he needed it.
Yeah, that he did.
I'm guessing somebody must have built some extra ones then.
But when he realized that his trap had failed, he quickly ran inside his house, opened up a hole in the floor.
If you've seen the trailer where his granddaughter is basically shifting around the floor like a puzzle box, that's where the trap is.
Mm-hmm. He puts the trap in
They
there.
show her pulling it out in one of the trailers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
exactly. And then he pulls his chair over top of it, and he's like sitting down, and he's got his little EKG
the
reader.
PKE meter.
Yeah, PKE. That's
Which
what
currently
it was.
doubles as a taser.
Well, he
He
obviously
had
made
to
some
modify the
modifications.
shit out of it.
Mm-hmm. And he's just seeing that he can hear like something rattling around outside the house, and then just as the thing starts to activate, like hands. Well, we also see like a spectral form starting to.
It looked like a terror dog on 2 feet.
Yeah.
Which
I
was
think
weird
that was
as
the other
shit.
terror dog.
Oh.
It's like they were just like, what can we do for this film that they weren't able to do in the original film? Mists.
But the devil dog appears to retreat, and the PKE meter like turns off, and then hands like rip out of the chair and grab him, just like happened to Dana in the first movie.
Yeah, I was gonna say, if you've seen the original film, you know how it happens.
And
the only difference is that he doesn't get dragged off.
Nope, but it does kill him.
Yeah,
he was old.
He was old. He probably had not been eating.
They were saying he it looked like he died of a heart attack, but
so it probably scared the shit out of him.
Well, what was
Literally,
that
probably.
scene in the first episode of Extreme Ghostbusters where he tries to go off on his own with the original equipment? He's like, I'm breaking the #1 rule of ghostbusting: never go by yourself.
Yeah,
I mean,
right,
no one else believed him, so
Yeah, because as we find out a bit later, when he bailed out on Ray, he like took all of their equipment and was going on about the end of the world, and Ray didn't believe him, which is saying a lot given that it's Ray.
yeah, Ray.
I'll say,
Well, I think that's because Ray thought that they had prevented it from happening.
That's the thing. The world is always ending.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, look at the Terminator movies.
Yep.
Wow.
I'm now trying to picture Michael Bay doing a Ghostbusters movie.
Oh God!
Explosion!
As soon as you turn on one of the proton packs, explosion.
No,
slow
you
motion.
zap something and just
No, you zap it. You capture
you don't
a ghost
trap
in
them.
slow motion.
You blow up.
You don't trap them anymore. You just overload them until they explode.
There you go.
Oh God!
No, you gotta go by the video games rules. You gotta slam them into shit in order to weaken them and
Yeah,
get
there
them
you
into
go.
the trap.
But from
I think
there,
they make a game
we're
based off
introduced
this
to Egon's daughter and her children. His daughter Callie and her son Trevor and the daughter Phoebe. Trevor has a bit of a mechanical knack, but he's
When it comes to like science and stuff like that, he's
it's
like,
Phoebe.
Phoebe
is
the reincarnation.
Yep. And well,
Just as socially awkward as Egon.
and just as adept with all things electronic and electrical.
She was adjusting the power in the apartment complex from their room.
She
Which is
literally.
probably one of the reasons they got evicted.
Well, I mean, the mom did say, "Look, I'm on my way to go pick up a check right now."
Right. But their landlord was just basically like, as soon as you leave, I'm changing the locks.
Well, he says, I'm not going to change it until you leave. So he gave her some leeway.
Yeah.
Seeing as he could have just been like, get the fuck out. I'm a...
Yeah, but that
So it wasn't
basically
the
means
total dick.
he's basically saying, yeah, pack up your shit and get out. But from there, they just head out to the dirt farm in Summerfield, Oklahoma.
I am amazed that they literally call this place the Dirt Farm.
They were like, "Well, he wasn't growing anything."
Yeah, plenty of dirt.
And the barn had dirt written on the side of it.
That was probably vandalism.
Maybe, but there was all the other stuff on the.
Well, outside the gate was him.
Yeah, I figured he probably put dirt on there also, but it's very possible it was vandalism.
Well, I think I'm under the impression that he put that there because guess what? In the dirt were the traps.
Yep, but
Maybe to keep
So
him
he
to
was
remind himself.
literally telling you where the traps are.
but the Spenglers relocate into the house, and they're all basically like the mom and Trevor are both like, oh, it's worse than we thought. They're looking at all this, and I meanwhile just lock on to the stack of books
I was
right
like,
next to the
first
chair.
movie again.
It's like symmetrical book stacking. No human being would stack books like this.
Except for Egon.
No, that wasn't Egon. Those books were not stacked there before he died.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Yes, they were.
Positive.
Chris would have seen it too.
Because when they moved,
He has the eye for detail like me.
Because when they walked in and then I saw the books there, I said, "No human could possibly stack books."
I
like
was
this."
the same.
Like I said, I was quoting the first movie a lot throughout this.
And literally, everything you were quoting was showing up exactly as is. Because literally, that is the quote.
It is such a love letter to the original movie. It was great.
And
the first,
literally, I believe that was just Egon trying to say, "Hey, I'm here."
Yeah.
Well, him saying, "Hey, I'm here," is when he started playing chess.
Yeah,
Well, first he just smacked the shit on the floor. He's like, no, clean it up.
Well,
And now we play.
Yeah, I want to play chess. I haven't played chess with anybody except myself for the last 30 years.
Maybe it was him trying to interact with it, and then it just too much power knocks it over.
Kind of like in the movie Ghost. You know, it takes a little bit of work before.
Oh God! So did they just reference Ghost in this film?
Possibly.
That was the second ghost that the Ghostbusters busted.
Oops.
Then they try to get Casper's. Ray anyway tried to get Casper's uncles out of that house, but he said, "Who are you gonna call?" Somebody else, and they took off.
They quickly establish some of the locations that you know and other characters you need to know. Trevor immediately develops a crush on the girl that works at the local burger joint. Spinners, yeah.
I like how the light was out later on in the movie, and it said Sinners.
Yeah.
He has chocolate fever.
Yep. The girl's name was Lucky.
Well, maybe he just has a sweet tooth.
Yes, for chocolate.
And he very quickly applies for a job at the.
It's like, how old are you? 17. He's actually 15.
Yeah.
You find that out way later.
Yeah. And of course, when he applies there and gets the job, they're immediately giving him all the really crap jobs, like doing
that nobody does.
Yeah.
Inventory.
Cleaning the floor mats and shit.
Under the floor mats.
See, the worst part is, since I work in a restaurant, I would know this, but there actually is a chemical that's made to specifically clean freezers. And
I believe it.
It's heavy on the alcohol.
He wasn't cleaning that. He was cleaning the floor.
Yeah. He was just doing inventory in the.
Yeah, he was doing that.
And it looked like the spill mats for cooks.
Oh, God, the one thing that we don't use at my job.
Well,
thank God for that.
But Phoebe is basically put into summer school because her mom doesn't really know how to deal with her, because she will just start taking apart anything and start trying to fix the electrical grid.
So she's Reed Richards?
Yeah, sure. And it's in the summer school that we're introduced to Gruberson, Paul Rudd's character. Gary.
Yes,
Gary Gruberson.
Gary Gruberson.
Guaranteed best teacher of them all.
Here's Cujo.
All
didn't
he
give a
does
shit.
is show horror movies.
To 12-year-olds, mind you.
Yeah.
No, this is the greatest teacher in the world.
No, Rudd and I literally looked over at him. I was like, where was this teacher when we were in high school?
Oh, we never went to summer school.
Summer school teachers do not give a fuck.
I know.
Clearly. He even says so. Easiest job on earth.
Slapping Cujo on VHS that he slapped on Child's Play later on.
The fact that he has Cujo on VHS.
He said he found that in the teacher's lounge.
Oh, that's for the teachers to watch when they're just getting tired of watching all the PBS crap.
Like I was like, it's Beethoven if he killed one.
And it's VHS too. It's VHS.
Watch Giant Rabbit St. Bernard go after kid. Yes, get the kid. Get him good.
Good dog.
But it's in summer school that Phoebe meets Podcast.
Okay.
A.K.A. Ray Jr.
Ray Jr.
He absolutely filled the role of.
He is 100% the new Ray.
Yeah, and
and bits and pieces of Venkman.
Bits and pieces of Venkman, but I would say Trevor is more like sort of slides into the Venkman role.
Trevor is.
I don't think he has the charisma.
Maybe not.
I think he's more Winston.
Because he works on the car.
That's true. And Lucky, I don't know where exactly.
I thought she would be more closer to Winston because she was more the straight man of the group.
And it looks like Zeke has joined us.
I have a question for you guys. Who cried? Because I wept like a bitch.
Yeah. Sam and the Peanut Gallery both
about
started
3
crying.
different times.
I show no emotions.
I got a bit
cried.
misty-eyed at some points.
I laughed. I cried.
I tried to hold it back the 2 times, and the 3rd time I was like, oh, God damn it.
We came, we saw, we cried.
We came, we saw, we kicked his. No, we didn't.
But yeah, I really lost it as soon as the Egon started to dissipate. I'm like,
Oh yeah, that was one of the parts where I started getting misty-eyed.
Was that far on the binge? We're past one?
No.
No.
We're sort of jumping back and forth, but we're
like we always do.
I had another question.
Yeah.
Who thought he was going to be put in a trap?
I was half worried he was going to get sucked into
I
the
knew
trap.
when he got to the side where the boys were, he knew where his own traps
Yeah.
were.
That's
but
fair.
I was
Well,
still worried.
you also got to remember, at the very beginning, when he was running, once he got to the dirt field, he started hopping left and right. He
So-
knew where his traps were.
And he didn't want to step on one and accidentally knock it out of alignment, probably.
And I have one question about that. Why did he not use the Ecto-1 instead of the truck? The Ecto-1 would have made it.
He probably didn't want to wreck it because he knew exactly.
Well, the Ecto one was already wrecked. It was
yeah,
it was under a
rusted.
dust cloth. It was rusting.
I mean, the Ecto 1 is Winston's baby.
Yeah.
He's not a mechanic.
No. Although he did help Trevor to fix Ecto-1 and get it running.
Yeah,
Oh, to turn
just
it on.
by
It's just
twisting one wire.
He's like, that needs to go in there, and there you go.
I'm glad I'm a ghost because this would hurt real life.
Like, twist this bad boy up.
Hey, I didn't feel a thing. Oh, by the
Oh
way.
wait, that's right.
Oh yeah, and the fact that he keeps possessing shit throughout the film.
I love the light.
The light, yes. He became Pixar.
I
Yes.
was just gonna say. So that's uses the Pixar light.
He became Luxo.
Oh my god.
But
There's already fan art, I bet.
I'm sure there is. If
Dude,
there's not, there
gonna
will
tons of
be.
it now.
There will be now. Yeah.
Though I have learned one thing from Marvel now. Always stay to the end.
Yes. Well, we already mentioned it, but we'll get more into
Marvel's
it
the
later.
reason why it happens.
Yeah. But podcast is, like we said, he's sort of the new Ray.
He is Ray.
He's just this somewhat nerdy kid that records a podcast about mysteries and stuff. And
And
Mysteries,
just
ghosts,
remember,
and the occult.
it really picks up on
Conspiracy
episode
theories.
46.
it really,
Well, he also talks about the Illuminati, lizard people, just like Ray.
He
Yeah.
went everywhere. But again, that was
I
Ray.
liked the call. I liked when he and Ray met. YouTube MTW, you're my subscriber.
I love that when he said my subscriber.
Yes, singular.
47 episodes is when it really starts to take off.
46.
46.
So Jay, is that what happens when you meet your subscriber?
We are in the double digits. So
You know what? I could push us one more ahead. Wait, do I? Am I honest? I don't know.
you should, if you are not subscribed to the BingeCast
I don't want to
channel,
pad the numbers.
pad the fucking numbers.
It's not.
Well, I'm trying to force
Ethical.
my sisters to pad numbers.
I don't
so
give a shit.
Subscribe.
Yeah,
Subscribe
make
or
sure
I-
to like, comment, and subscribe.
Subscribe,
You know,
or I'm going to shoot
I'll-
you with a Nerf gun.
He'll do it too. I've
Nerf
seen.
minigun.
Yeah, I've seen it
Why do they call it a minigun? It's bigger than all the rest.
because it's still smaller than an actual minigun.
Small bullets.
Why does it have old painless spray painted to the side of it?
That's the only thing that made me sad.
But podcast keeps
That
like
they weren't in it more.
Oh no, the fact that the one I want, it's only at AMC and it's like $40, but you go online and people are selling it for $120.
What is it?
The Ecto-1 popcorn.
Oh, the one you showed me.
Yes.
Dear God.
Do they still have it at AMC?
Apparently, but I'm sitting there like,
I'm
just
not
talking about
going into
AMC, go
AMC.
grab
Okay,
it.
look, I'm going to walk into
Tyson's
AMC. Look, I'm here for
Woodbridge.
popcorn. Give me that damn Ecto. And walk out.
We're like, I'm here. I'll take the job. What? Yep. These are my perks. Later.
Oh, by the way, I quit.
Walk right back out.
Don't bother calling me. I quit. Who are you gonna call? Nobody, because I didn't give you my number. Bye.
But yeah, back to like podcast. The way he keeps like recording bits and just being so over the top and dramatic with everything that he
And the fact
records.
that he's got that microphone that he keeps in a holster. On.
Yeah,
Well, yeah,
no,
that's
it's in
what
a
they
sheath.
do.
It's like
I ain't buying that for him.
I don't need a microphone like that. And I'm not going to turn into a freaking gargoyle, toting all that stuff around to record everything every waking
I
moment.
saw his giant ass backpack he carried with him,
I
right?
mean,
Yeah,
He
that's
had-
probably the
he had
batteries that
enough-
he needs to
He had
record
enough
everything.
audio stuff on him. He could have recorded
Oh, he's
the
serious
whole
about his
podcast.
podcasting, at least.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for
He made
for every single one of his subscribers.
I mean, It sounds like the one listened to them all, so I mean...
Yeah.
he knew exactly
I
what
loved how he had a
picked
My
up.
Little Pony
Oh, the My Little Pony thumb drive.
thumb drive with all of his podcasts on it, just so he is ready to hand out.
Hey, he's not doing the YouTube algorithm justice.
Well, not everybody gives a shit about the algorithm.
But it's also...
We don't give a shit about the algorithm.
What's the fucking
Also,
algorithm?
Don't worry about it.
It's also a podcast, so it didn't necessarily have to be on YouTube.
This is true. But, and...
Oh, you lost your train of thought.
Yeah, briefly. Phoebe and Gruberson very quickly bond over their mutual
Oh, she
love
did-
of science.
Well, she didn't want to watch Cujo.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
She saw seismographs.
She saw.
Well, no, it's
Simon
because
Jackson
there was another earthquake. Because earthquakes have been happening on a regular basis in Summerfield.
You know what? The entire time I sat there and I thought to myself, I was like, are they on a ley line?
Probably.
Possibly.
They already ruled out everything that it would have been.
Well, Leyline would not
Well,
be
Leyline
actually
would
on
not be-
the map.
Leyline would be on the map, though.
Yeah.
Not on any like seismological
But
map or anything.
considering where the mine was, it sounds like it actually was along a ley line, which would
Yeah.
basically intensify the magic properties of the metal. Hence why he was able to use it for the tower and for there.
Yeah, because when Podcast took Phoebe up to the old Shandor mine, and talked about how they mined selenium to make girders, and she was just like, "Why would you make girders out of an what was electroconductive material like selenium?" And he's just
As soon as she said, I'm like, for ghosts, duh.
yeah. But as she told Podcast, she didn't believe in ghosts. As soon as she said that, I was just like,
You will soon.
yeah.
I mean, it
About
makes
that.
sense. It makes sense for the character though, because
Yeah.
she's based on science.
Science.
Science goes.
Yes,
I don't see
but-
it. I don't believe it.
But
It don't exist.
ghosts have been scientifically proven to exist. That was proven like 30 plus years ago.
Yeah, but
But
if
not
not,
to this
there's
generation.
some scientists who just refuse to accept that as fact. And
Oh, now
yeah.
you're bringing science denial into this.
Well,
And
Well-
of course, they're always the ones who get smacked in the face by the damn poltergeist.
I want to
or-
say this right now. We're sorry, Ash. We believe in you.
Yes.
and to whoever's outside the house.
Yeah, you stay out there.
Yeah, you stay outside, motherfucker. I am not in the mood to have to go into my shit.
I am going to call that one Knox.
Yeah,
We'll just
not,
leave it at that.
Knox better.
If there's
Knox-
things that you don't want in your house, you should probably not name them.
Well, number one,
Toby.
number one, if you are knocking from the outside and you knock 3 times, that just tells me, yeah, fuck no, you're not belong here at all.
Anyway.
Go find the doctor.
Yeah. But yeah, and podcast gives us a little bit of exposition on like the mine, how a bunch of like the miners had just up and disappeared one day, and I'm just sort of like
Some were literally jumping into.
They're jumping to the death.
jumping
Into that pit
into the death pit. Yep, which we see later.
because they're sacrificing themselves to bring the ranks higher to.
Yep, to supercharge the ghost geyser.
That means there must have been a lot of skeletons at the bottom of that damn thing.
Maybe.
Some of them probably turned themselves into parts of the statue.
Possibly.
I would not put it past that, but and Trevor, meanwhile, as he explores the barn, he finds the old Ecto-1 and starts working on trying to put it together, get it running.
That line wasn't in it either.
What?
It's like, why did you work on this one? It's
Well-
because it's the only one that had a battery. That wasn't in the movie. It
Yeah,
was only in the
trailers
trailer.
always lie.
It's either a deleted scene or just add ADR.
Yeah, probably just ADR. Meanwhile, Phoebe starts playing chess with her grandfather, as in ghost form. She doesn't realize it's him until later when he leads her into the secret basement beneath the dirt barn.
I was so excited when that's what happened. The chessboard.
Oh yeah.
And I'm
Well,
sitting there
at
going,
first when it was just like she wakes up and sees one chess piece has been moved, and she just puts one.
She was just curious. She was
Yeah.
like, okay,
And she
I'll
puts
bite.
and she just moves another piece, goes about her day. When she comes back later, another piece has been moved. So she moves another piece, and then
and then all of a sudden you just see the whole piece just say, "Yeah, about that, I take your knife."
No, she sees another piece
it.
move, so she captures one of his pawns, and then he captures one of hers and just yeets it across the room.
He rejects the
loss.
no, he rejected the other night.
There was no checkmate involved. They
No,
only
by the
done
loss, I mean the loss in his piece.
And then she starts following the PKE meter as it leads her outside and into
through the lights and everything.
See, I like how when she aims away from the invisible path, it turns off, but then when she goes back, it turns back on.
Yep.
You notice there's a different wavelength for him too.
Yeah, it was like more blue than
Yep.
red and green, like it was for the more hostile stuff.
I'm kind of curious on one thing.
Which is
Who the hell is her dad?
just
Because-
some guy,
Because that's the thing, though. She's
An ordinary
super
asshole.
smart.
right?
The mom has no interest in science.
Right,
And the story goes, he had no interest in science.
right.
Yeah.
Egon's genius intellect skipped a generation.
Yeah, I guess that's the case.
Yep. But
My
she,
question is, who is the grandmother?
Janine.
I'm still saying it's Janine.
I still think it
because looking
you
at
never
the
hear her talk about her mom at all.
right, but looking at her and then
looked
looking
like
at Janine, yeah, she had a resemblance to
She
Janine.
looked so much like Janine, and I was like, I'm pretty sure that was the secret love.
Mm-hmm. And Janine was just sort of like, I'm not really ready to raise kids.
I mean, they kind of hinted
Well,
at it.
remember in the first one, she was even like,
She was all about him.
"Yeah, I'm all
She
about
was
kids."
asking about.
and he's like, "I collect molds.
I collect spores, molds, and fungus. Yeah.
And we
Which we
saw
did.
them all.
We
What
did,
happened-
and we did
what-
see that collection.
So what happened? She got kid. He got spores, molds, and fungus.
Yep.
It was pretty much. I guess they're
Yeah,
they're
but the
home
fact
away
that
from home.
but the fact that she didn't respond to Janine in any
Yeah,
way,
that's why I would think that it wasn't her.
I don't know.
But
It's-
then again, I'm under the impression that I don't think she knew who her parents were, other than her father. Anyway,
it's if they make another one, maybe they'll address it.
Well, she definitely made it sound like she knew who her dad was, just didn't want to tell her kid.
If they make another one, this movie's been hopping off the scale. That's all I did was research today at work, wondering how good this movie's been doing.
Terribly.
Oh, really?
61%.
Well, Howard ticket sales.
He's not talking about critic
tickets-
scores. He's
ticket
talking about ticket
sales are
sales.
flying.
I'm not even going to go that way because we already know how I feel about Venom.
Have you read the reviews on this?
We
No,
already-
I'm just.
We are not talking about other.
Oh, yes.
We are not talking about other reviews.
I have to ask
reviews.
this-
We're talking about the reviews of
I have
this.
to ask one review of the reviews. Are we talking critic or are we talking
There's
fan?
one single fan that has written a review of it that has any kind of merit, and that was a good review.
Well, that's why we do our cast. So we
The critic ones, because I'm curious, why has it tanked lower than 2016? It's lower than Venom too.
Apparently, the thing that people that are criticizing it for is the amount of stuff that is supposed to make the older fans feel nostalgic.
And that's not a bad thing because you want to bring us, the original fan base in so that we can bring our families along and get a new generation interested in Ghostbusters.
But if we have a Pixar movie that has adult jokes, it's fine. But we can't bring the nostalgia factor.
No,
We're
having.
Hold on a second. Let me read this. It says the film received generally positive reviews with the cast members.
We're 95% on audience, by the way.
With the cast members' performances, Reitman's direction, and nostalgic tone being praised, but its fan service being criticized.
I'm sorry. What is the difference between nostalgia and fan service?
I don't know.
Nostalgia is fan service.
Exactly. This is why
What the fuck?
disregard.
I
You should just disregard what
No,
critics
nostalgia-
say.
Nostalgia is fan service to the fans.
Look, if you love the first two films, go see this.
Yes.
If-
We've said that
Well,
before. We'll say it again. We will keep saying it. Go see this movie.
My biggest thing about the critics, were you even a fan of the original series? Did you grow up with the movie?
Did
Do
you
you
grow
have
up with
any
the cartoon?
connection with the first movie? Did you even see the first one?
Did you watch the cartoon? Did you watch Extreme Ghostbusters when it came out?
My first memory of a theater ever was going to see Ghostbusters in theaters when I was like 4 or 5, maybe even 3. I don't even
Ghostbusters 2.
1. Because it was playing back in theaters when we were on vacation in North Carolina.
Wow.
And I remember the movie because my parents would play it all the time for me, and I loved the shit out of it. And I've seen it so many times. I was enamored with seeing it on the screen and then seeing it come from the lights, the dust and the lights from the projector. I loved the movie. Terror Dogs. I had a firehouse. I had the Ecto-1. I had a containment unit. I had a proton pack. I had a fucking ghost trap.
You had pretty much every single piece of merchandise.
Everything. Did you ever wear a Ghostbusters outfit for Halloween?
Yes, I did.
So did I. Fist bump.
Boom.
So which different characters did they have? They only had one. It was always Spangler.
Yeah. Mine was like a homemade one. My mom made like the Ghostbusters armband and everything.
I originally had one of the store-bought ones, then I ended up getting a better one.
Yeah.
And now that we're all in our 30s, we can actually go and actually make the ones for
30s.
Okay, 40.
Yeah. And
Okay, Grandpa.
1, 2.
Granddads.
Who's saying anything about, making one? I ain't planning on maybe dropping $400 on one that's actually going to fit me.
Are you talking about the proton pack?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, he was talking about the flight suit.
Yep.
I thought you were talking about the proton pack.
Nope.
I heard him say make one. How do we make a flight suit?
I might know where to find the pieces of it, and that's including the elbow pads, the
Ah,
patches, and
well,
everything.
full costume.
Well, the flight suit is actually just one piece. So
Yeah.
you
You just gotta get the patches.
you
and
just
put
you
some
just gotta
pads on it.
buy a boiler suit and then just modify it.
Well, actually,
And I have one of those,
Actually,
so.
those suits are those are old Air Force.
Okay,
So,
but
yeah,
I'm saying
you can get those
a
really
boiler
easy.
suit would probably be cheaper, and then you just modify it. But
Yeah.
anyway, back to the movie.
Go back to the movie.
Oh no, I like what we're doing with this.
Any of us.
I like what we're doing with this one.
Yeah, we all very clearly had a great time with it.
Love the movie. I don't know if we want to go too far into spoilers. Just hearing our adulation for
Yes.
this movie.
Oh my god, so
should
much.
be what we should be gushing just about how good it was.
There
Pacing was really good.
actually
The pacing was very, very
There
good.
was nothing I
Nothing
could
was rushed.
see
And there was
that was actually bad about this film. It was well written. You could tell they took their time with the story. It was paced perfectly. Nothing was rushed. You have full character development. Hell, you had character development for almost everybody.
yeah.
I mean, even the sheriff who is the girl's father.
Well, the sheriff who was in like
Who are you
one
gonna call?
scene.
Yeah, he had.
So I get one phone call, right? Who are you gonna call?
As soon as he said that, we were all just sort of like, yeah, we know who.
That's the lot.
Yep.
So does this mean that we should have done that shit from Family Guy? Oh, he said it! He said it!
Yeah, that insert Leonardo DiCaprio meme, pointing at the screen. But yeah, it was just the perfect love letter to Ghostbusters fans.
Oh, I want the sequel.
Oh, I want a sequel
The way
immediately.
they left that with the blinking red light.
We'll get into that later.
Yeah.
Oh no, we don't need.
We're-
I don't
we're-
want to spoil the last half of the movie, man.
But
There was just it was
seeing the Terror Dogs return,
the return of the Terror Dogs.
the return of Gozer.
I was wondering what time at night was Walmart completely empty? Small town.
I was saying.
Well, the movie
And-
was supposed to have come
Where the
out-
hell was the Walmart? There's no Walmart in a small town.
Yeah, it is.
Yes, there is.
Yeah.
Really?
There are stories of a Walmart that everybody
But literally,
now.
the Walmart takes over the town.
And drives everything else out of business.
Didn't you notice all the small town business, how all the buildings were abandoned?
yes,
Because
but
Walmart. Don't you remember that episode of South Park?
Walmart
They
comes
open up
into
a-
a town and eats it.
Yeah, as I commented to Chris during the movie when they showed
Walmart I've ever seen in my life.
when we saw the Walmart and knowing that and seeing one of the ghost trails going into the building, I leaned over to Chris. I was like, "Of course, the end of the world would start at Walmart."
I laughed at two things on that one. The door opening after the ghost went through.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, it's cool. And then the second one was, I'm sitting there and I'm like loving when he ran through the car. It's like, my window's screwed anyways.
I loved that It's like you forget about it until he just like dove head first towards his
because his windshield had gotten blown out earlier.
See, what cracked me up though was the fact that when
the
the dog was standing on it and then the tire blew and both of them looked down at it.
Well, he's looking down. He's like, he was gonna be like, all right, I can get out of this. Well, now I'm fucked. Dog's like, that's a noise. Oh yeah.
And then threw the ice cream on my head. You're mine.
And as soon as the
you like that they're keeping the Baskin Robbins thing with
Slimer.
No. The most sexiest man, Paul
Rudd.
Paul Rudd. Yeah.
You could have just
He has
said
a Baskin Robbins thing in like every movie.
Oh, really?
Yes.
You ever notice that in Ant-Man? He mentioned
Yes.
No, well, yeah, in the first Ant-Man, yeah.
Baskin Robbins don't play.
every movie, and they're keeping it running now.
Yes.
Was that the ice cream brand that he grabbed?
Yeah.
I didn't look at the brand.
He mentioned it. No, he didn't mention it.
No, he didn't mention it.
But
He
you could see the wall of it.
Yeah. Well, no, you saw him take it out of the freezer, but you couldn't see what it was.
Oh, I knew right
But then,
away.
as soon as he
It's
closed it and stepped away, you saw like the empty
And the whole
space on the shelf with the Baskin Robbins.
Was Baskin Robbins. I was
Isn't-
like, yeah.
That's another call over to some of the other kids that played in the movie because they're from Stranger Things.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Finn Wolfhard,
That's the one. I couldn't remember his name.
a.k.a. the possible young Ben Solo.
Ah.
Oh.
Okay.
Supposedly he's going to be playing Ben Solo.
Because the ice cream shop they used in season 2 was actually a Baskin Robbins.
Ah. Okay.
And that's why they had promotions for the Upside Down Sundae.
The only question I had about the movie is who the fuck played Spangler at the very beginning? I want to know.
Some stand-in.
Like, I want to know
Probably.
who played him.
It was just some stand-in.
She's just
It's
really,
stunt
really
double.
curious.
Yeah.
It's stunt double.
There you
It was
go.
a stunt double from the first 2 films.
Yeah.
I don't know about that.
But
Maybe.
But yeah, seeing Gozer turn up again and all the various callbacks to some of the classic lines, like, especially when
Are you a god?
Are you a god? And,
He's
and,
like,
and you see Ray hesitate.
Come on, Ray, you got this.
You're like,
Yes,
seriously, man?
seriously, man.
Yeah.
And of
Yeah,
course,
Bill Murray just go off in this movie.
as soon as the terror dog possessed Paul Rudd's possessed Gruberson, I was like, well, I know who Zool's gonna possess now. And sure enough, just the scene when they walk in and they see her just sat there in the chair, I was like, oh, here we go. And they're like, Mom, and he
But
just
no
that-
refrigerator
There's no
tricks.
mom, only Zool.
There is no mom, only Zool.
And that's what, I swear, like when she said that, I looked over at Jay and I said, "What a lovely singing voice you have."
And then
Like I said, I was quoting the first film.
and then when the gatekeeper and the keymaster met and flirted briefly,
oh my god, that was funny.
I like your eyes.
That thing right there made me so happy because we never saw what
Exactly.
happened on the.
It was
You
heavily
saw
implied.
Lewis walk in, and they exchanged, and then the door shuts.
And you never see the building get made. You never saw anything but that show.
That's because they didn't have the budget for it.
I know, but
Yeah, they blew the top off that bitch.
it answers so many questions from the first movie. Like, how did that get up there?
How did that happen?
Now we know.
Yeah.
It could
Ghost supernatural shit.
it could have been like a little model inside because what grew out of the earth
This is
was
true.
the thing. It could have been just like a model based somewhere inside the roof of the building.
And then
Because
as soon
the
as the
girders
thing
were
got
built.
activated, and but yeah, it was.
Oh, she is a god. She did make a god.
I gotta say,
marshmallow.
you haven't played it yet. The Lego Dimensions Ghostbuster pack.
Yeah.
You will love it. After playing it, it all the nostalgia punched me in the face all at once, and I immediately went out, bought the 4K version of the first and second movie because somehow I didn't already have it, and watched them right there. Actually, no, I already had it. I just hadn't opened it. And I popped them in, and I said, I'm watching these now. Dad's like, what are you doing? I was like, it doesn't matter what I'm doing. It's a snow day. We're watching Ghostbusters 1. Then we're watching Ghostbusters 2 because I'm feeling it, damn it.
Yep.
That was me when I played the Atari game. Of course, this is when Harold was still alive, and they got everybody to come back and voice their characters. They tried to get what's his face to come back to voice Lewis, but he was like
Rick
no.
Moranis, yeah.
Rick
Yeah.
Moranis said he's like done with acting.
No, he comes back every so often.
But it's
He
just like
coulda done
he's
this.
basically retired.
Yeah,
He could.
Yeah,
so,
he could.
So,
Well, hey, mate, sequel.
Well, you do remember the last time he came out to act at a commercial, he got punched in the face. That's why Ryan Reynolds lost his shit. Because Ryan Reynolds brought him out for a commercial for some cell phone company. And
Oh,
then,
his wireless company he was starting up with.
And then, like, someone just came out and punched the dude in the face, like, a week later.
oh yeah, I remember that. I'm like, what a...
It's
Why?
like, that's
Yeah.
why the whole universe needs to look at that person and go, death!
This is why the internet needs to stop, because people think that this is an acceptable behavior. Oh, I don't like that you were in a hiatus from acting, and because Funny Man brings you out, does a commercial. I don't like that you did that instead of go do Ghostbusters, I Punch You, or Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, or whatever have you. What kind of fucking right do you have
No,
to do
they
that?
were-
You did a mobile commercial instead of another Molson commercial.
They were mad because there was not another movie about plants eating people.
It's possible.
Little Shop of Horrors.
Yep.
Oh,
And I liked
God.
the new Slimer, Muncher.
Oh, no.
Yeah,
See,
well, where was Slimer?
he was still in the...
He's the
still
red
in New
he's
York.
the red light on the thing in New York.
No,
Right.
he's still in New York.
Yeah, he's in New York. Muncher is basically
The new
just,
Slimer.
he's the new
Do you know what's
Slimer.
bad though? They have exactly three plushes sold at the theater. You've got the little marshmallow puff boys.
Yep.
You've got
Boys. I like that.
you've got Muncher,
The Stay Puft
and
Boys.
you've got Slimer.
Slimer was not...
Slimer
there.
is always going to be a plush for Ghostbusters.
But he's literally the mascot.
Exactly.
No, that's the mascot.
No, this is the symbol.
That's the one that got shot in the balls, in the ghost balls, because Hitman privates go funny.
The less said about 2016, the better.
And you call yourself a comedy writer.
Wow. Just wow. Oh, God.
Let's
wow.
move on. We're not going to talk about
Oh,
2016.
wait, I love how...
Only every 10 minutes.
I gotta say, one of the things that I did like towards the end of the film, when you see the little Stay Puft Marshmallow Boys being vaporized,
The
it
Stay
looks
Puft Boys.
it literally made to look like the way Stay Puft was blown up in
Yeah.
the first film. I was like, oh, I see what y'all did.
And
here.
then complete with podcast climbing out of the car, covered
Completely
in
covered.
marshmallow.
Oh, yeah.
Immediately to Ray.
Exactly.
Everybody's like,
No.
I understand.
Ray said the exact same thing to the last Keymaster.
Yeah.
He's like, you
You
just
just-
an actor of a Class 5 operation.
And no, when he came out, I looked over at Road and I said, I love this town.
Well, and I liked also when the boys showed up and that got blasted across the Ecto One, and Ray and Venkman were just like, I don't remember it hurting this much, and Winston just sits up and goes, I do.
They gave him a lot of really good lines.
Oh yeah.
It's probably because they probably looked at it like, you know what, dude, you really weren't respected as much in the first two films. Let's give you some really good lines.
It's like, well, his character was supposed to be more than it was in the first movie.
Well, his character in the script was written as being a former Marine.
Right, but no, he was supposed to have. There were supposed to be more scenes developing his character in the first movie,
Well, you know
and
who
they
was-
cut a lot of those
Well,
scenes.
you know who was supposed to play the role, right? Eddie Murphy.
That's true, but yeah, I could see that them giving him a bunch of great lines here. Is there's again, yeah, like you said, their way of sort of making it up to him.
Yeah.
and
also
also
the whole
basically-
scene at the end of the movie.
And the whole scene at the end of the movie, and also turns out Winston was the most successful out of all four of them.
I think they were making up for the treatment of him in the first movie.
Yeah.
With this.
Yeah, they really made they gave him all the love.
Yeah, as he deserves.
Well, I mean,
Yeah,
he's
sure.
out of the original Ghostbusters, he's the only one that does convention appearances.
Oh, yes.
They-
I met him. He is awesome.
They apparently Dan Aykroyd, when he was promoting his Skull Bottle
Crystal Head
Vodka,
vodka.
somebody, it was actually out in, I think, Pennsylvania, Jersey, is somewhere in that area, was mentioning to him about Monster Mania, which is
Oh.
where, it's a horror convention out in Maryland and New Jersey, and Ernie Hudson has been there. The only other Ghostbuster actors that's been there is the guys who were in the Stay Puft costume. basically just like stunt guys or whatever.
Sigourney Weaver hasn't been there?
Sigourney Weaver has not been there. None of the other
Really?
actors have been there. He's the only actual Ghostbuster to be there. And he,
I think so since Aliens.
and apparently, well,
Same.
I don't think she does Well, she does. But it's very rare. It's like Jamie Lee Curtis.
Well, I mean, Sigourney Weaver showed up for that high school that did the Alien play,
Oh God, yes, I remember that.
which was, that's awesome. Both that they successfully adapted that into a play. I've seen it, and it was actually pretty good.
Was it a high school? You said a high school?
Yeah.
Yep, high school production. And
There is essentially a fan cam of it on YouTube.
Well, there needed to be a sturdy frickin' pod cam for that shit.
I agree, but regardless, they did an encore performance of it, and they got Sigourney Weaver to she made an appearance, gave a little speech before the play, sort of put, congratulating them for doing it and everything. It was
Congratulating
really,
for
really
getting
cool.
it through into high school. When most of the people there shouldn't be old enough to watch Aliens.
I was rather young when I saw that movie, but anyways,
I know how old I was.
but anyways,
We'll not go there for. we'll spare your blushes. Anyway, Chris.
But anyway, so multiple people brought up Monster Mania to Dan, trying to essentially egg him into making a convention appearance there. It's like, look, dude, we've had one Ghostbuster there. We should have, the other ones while you guys are still alive. So maybe
Time will tell, but hey,
I just remember the I can't remember his name. The dude we just talked about, the guy who got no love.
Ernie
Ernie
Hudson.
Hudson.
Ernie Hudson. I remember him being at AwesomeCon, and they were doing a voiceover reading of the Ghostbusters script. He came in, and the whole room lost his shit as he did his one famous line.
I love this town.
Tell him about the Twinkie.
Tell me about the Twinkie.
He had a lot
that's
of
it.
What about the Twinkie?
Oh yeah, that's another thing. When they popped open the glove compartment,
There was a
exit
Twinkie.
one,
There was
and
a
the
Twinkie.
Twinkie's still sitting in there, and it was
And
perfectly
as soon
preserved.
as it happened, Chris and I looked at each other and just grinned. We were just like, yeah.
No,
We
I
didn't
know.
have to say anything. It was just like, yeah.
No, I literally said, "Tell him about the Twinkie."
Yeah.
What about the Twinkie?
Oh God, it was so good.
Rude, I gotta ask you this: what was like you? Out of all of us, you're the only one here who probably watched Ghostbusters when it was originally in theaters.
Yes.
I was only 3 when it was originally in theaters. So
I can't remember.
young.
I can't remember what year did
What?
it come out.
You feel young.
no.
I can't remember what year did.
84.
84?
yeah.
Oh, I hadn't been born yet. I was probably I was probably being worked on at the time. See,
Still in development.
Wow.
Oh God.
Unfortunately,
Just
my
like
wife,
the
my
third
wife made
script.
a joke at me when they were doing the
I just
scene,
didn't take 20
when they were
years to
doing
come
the apocalypse numbers.
Uh-huh.
And they go, 1984, you were born. Like, fuck off!
My sister was also born.
So how did you feel that they skipped the second one?
What do you mean?
Ghostbusters 2.
This is a direct sequel to one.
I mean, I
Was
can,
it?
I mean, I
You didn't
There
notice
was
they
no
didn't
mention of
it.
Vigo.
Vigo, the date skipped from 84 to 2021,
Yeah.
which they had to scrub that because that was probably supposed to be 2019 originally.
Well, I mean, I can
Or
understand
2020.
the reason why,
Probably
because the
2020.
second film didn't really reference Gozer, so it all had to do with the original theme of Gozer. So maybe, if, let's say, they do a sequel to Afterlife, and we get the Vigo the Carpathian painting in the lobby of the Ghostbusters building, a la the video game, but just
Well,
don't make the
Except at the end of the movie, it was transformed from Vigo into
Them.
into them
To them.
as like angels
this is why-
surrounding the
Well,
holy
the
child.
other thing that made it
Your
feel
patron
that it
saints of
wasn't
ghostbusting.
a part of they all the video footage they showed was everything they showed was from the first movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All the different commercials and stuff because they would have been like or not Reitman. Why can't I think of Ant-Man's frickin' actor?
Paul Rudd.
Rudd. He would have mentioned that. Well, yeah, there were ghosts, and then all of a sudden they didn't believe in them anymore.
Well, yeah, because if you remember in the
Because the second one they didn't believe in ghosts
Yeah.
because they had gotten rid of it.
Well, it wasn't so much that they didn't believe in ghosts. There was just no more ghosts to bust.
Well, yeah, 'cause
And they
if
were
you
claiming that they were
frauds.
and they brought it on themselves.
Well, yeah, because if you remember at the beginning of the second one when they were doing the
That
kid's
would have been
birthday,
mentioned then.
the
They
one-
want He-Man.
the one kid was like,
If back then they knew what He-Man we have now, I don't think they want He-Man anymore.
I remember the one kid looked up at Dan Aykroyd and was just like, yeah, my dad thinks you guys are frauds. He's like, well, what makes him think that? And he kind of explained. It's been a while since I've seen the second film. Says his reasoning behind it, and then you see when they leave. Of course, they got the party stuff with them. They load the equipment back up, and it's like, look, we haven't had much business since Gozer happened. So I imagine that the flux of ghosts kind of like kept on decreasing.
Yep, it petered out because that was what was bringing them out.
Yeah, and then of course, the slime.
What's the time frame between 1 and 2 story wise?
The second one came out in 1991, I think.
Was it
So
No, 80. It takes place in
89.
December of '89, because if you remember when the movie ends, it's on New Year's,
Yeah.
and when that started, it was
because they used like all the New Yorkers singing "Auld Lang Syne" outside the museum
For the
fucked with-
positivity.
the positivity fucked with Vigo's mood slime.
See, the thing is, maybe the reason why they didn't mention Vigo because he wasn't a big enough threat. Because
Compared to Gozer, that's true.
Yeah,
because
Gozer
if
is.
you listen to what they said, each one of those dates,
Major
a
event.
humongous event happened.
The Titanic coming back was kind of big.
Well, by the way, they never.
All of New York.
Not in the spectrum of natural disaster of volcano exploding and melting the
But
world.
they also mentioned
They mentioned Krakatoa, Tunguska. As soon as 1908 came up there, I was like,
But they also
Tunguska.
mentioned
I know.
84.
Yeah. Well,
Which was
they also mentioned
Gozer.
1945, and they were just like, what didn't happen in 1945? And, we also got to see Ivo Shandor.
Yeah, do we really want to spoil that?
No.
Because the second
leave it at that.
Because the second
We'll
he
leave it
started,
in the sarcophagus where it belongs.
because the second he started talking, me and Rue just looked at each other and just started laughing.
Well, I looked over at you too. We just started laughing also
because
because of who it was.
Yeah, because when we saw who was playing him, we were just like, really?
Hey, he is getting paid. He is getting paid from so many different franchises.
Well, he's making that Sony movie money. That's for damn sure.
Yep.
So, non-movie question,
Okay.
but movie related.
Yes.
How long were your trailers? Because God bless it, I had 30 minutes plus.
What trailers did you get?
Bunch of stuff I don't care about.
Okay, so we had Spider-Man.
Oh, yeah.
That's that
That
one.
was a
We
good
had
one.
Morbius.
Yes.
That was a good one, too.
Dog.
Dog. That movie with Channing Tatum.
I kind of want to see that.
I kind of do too.
I mean,
We
I want
had
to see how...
Encanto.
The dog is the best
Oh
actor
yeah.
in it.
Oh yeah.
Oh, you don't like Channing? I like Channing Tatum.
Don't
The
do
Super
that.
Pets.
Yeah,
The
we had-
DC
Super Pets,
we had
Steph.
Super
I'm
Pets.
mad at Super Pets now.
Why?
Dude, that was hilarious.
I'm mad at it because I'm like, okay, cool, we're going to actually get the legit Super Pets. Oh, no, these are just random pets that got activated through a fucking MacGuffin that hits the ground near him.
I mean,
and that's not the actual Ace the Bat Hound. That's just a dog named Ace.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, cool. Now I don't have to complain that it's not the right dog, but he has the same fucking name.
There was those three and then like 8 other trailers that are all like movies. I'm like,
Yeah, the one that I was
We only-
just
I
a
only
bit
remember
puzzled
we had,
about
like,
was
6.
the Redeeming Love. I was just like, why is this here?
I think that's when I stopped
Related.
paying attention.
Well, we also had Scree 5.
Oh yeah,
Scream. Yeah, we had Scream.
We had the trailer for
we had
Scream.
Scream 2. Also, Sing 2.
Yeah, we had Sing 2. Well, Sing
I am
2
looking
makes
forward to that.
sense.
Well, that's what confusing because most of the time your movies, you get a good amount of promotion for your target audience. Where the hell did these movies come from? For this
Which
target
ones?
audience, there was one kid movie, one kid cartoon. I'm sorry, Ghostbusters for me will always be a kid movie. I know you.
So you're saying
with the
Sing?
the PG-13 thing, I understand that, but it would still be a kid movie.
Well, Paul Rudd's in it, so Spider-Man? And Morbius, because they're Marvel related, and he was Ant-Man in 3 movies, 4 movies.
I mean, I'm fairly certain they were, because it's getting closer to the release date for that film. They're just slapping
Also,
on whatever.
That love story, for whatever the fuck reason, is the biggest confusion out of all.
Well, yeah, Redeeming Love, I was like, why is this here?
Yeah, I think that's when I checked out for a minute.
We also had Encanto.
Oh, yeah. So maybe there was a lot more than I remember, because I've seen all these trailers before,
Same.
so it's just going like this.
The only one, it's like Dog, Super Pets, and Redeeming Love were the only ones I really hadn't seen. And Dog, I was like, okay. Redeeming Love, I was like, why?
I don't remember Dog.
That was the one with Channing Tatum in it.
Yes.
Him.
You may not have gotten
the best actor in there.
Hey, come on.
Well, the dog also had a Purple Heart.
Exactly.
Yeah, that John Bell.
And it doesn't matter. But yeah, Ghostbusters Afterlife. I would say we all are saying giving it like 2 thumbs up. Go see.
I don't have enough thumbs up to give it.
I would say
I don't have the amount on my appendages.
I say spend a little extra. We went to go see it in the XD theater. Dude, the seats were vibrating.
AKA, it's IMAX, but not.
Our seats were concaved into each other.
Oh, yours too?
Oh, awesome. I don't want Theater 1 anymore.
Oh, like really, when stuff started going sideways, I'm like sitting there going, I don't remember being part of a roller coaster.
No,
Oh,
see,
God,
what
one of
funny
those.
I was a part of the movie,
No,
and I
it
didn't
was the
mean
sound
to.
vibrations because the walls.
Okay, then in that case, I am definitely not seeing it in XD because that ruined Blade Runner 2049 for me.
Really?
It felt like my seat never stopped shaking the whole freaking movie.
You might have had it for long enough that your body just kept shaking afterwards.
No.
And
I could hear like the speakers still doing.
It only happened on one part, and that's when the wall started breaking.
Well, that makes sense.
Rude, I
because
gotta ask you this:
you're there.
what was your fond memory of Ghostbusters growing up? Was it the
dear
cartoon,
God.
the movies, both?
It was the cartoon.
Everything.
It was the cartoon for me, but
The movie basically what set the tone for literally my entire generation. As soon as they go into the library and they peek around, like, there she is. All right,
get her.
get her.
On the count
And
of-
everybody in the theater, like all the kids are like, yeah. And as
then
soon
it's
as
like,
she went, everyone's like, ah. And from that point on,
Books,
that
yeah,
movie
the
had
books.
us hooked.
We did comment on the books in the house.
You notice the books did not fall during the earthquake.
Of course.
Yeah, he
Egon,
stacked them.
Egon was there holding them up.
Egon was like, nope.
Literally stacked the books.
It took me hours to get those stacked just so. Do not.
Of course, that's how he was practicing trying to flip the damn chessboard. He stacked the books. Once he got them stacked up high enough. Oh, by the way, did he have the years written around the house
Yes.
also?
Yes.
Okay.
Because he had recreated it inside the house.
Probably so he could remember. So as a way to focus, I have until 2021 to get to stop
2020.
this.
So I want to know.
Scratch. One.
One.
I want to know. Did COVID affect the anything in the movie itself? It's
In
like,
in universe, you think?
yes.
Yeah, well, then that should have been 2020.
Because like when he said 19.
What didn't happen in 2020?
Everything. Everything didn't happen in 2020.
I think I'm pretty sure that if we had an asteroid coming towards the Earth, I would have been like, well, okay.
Can we watch the
we
movie
would
now?
have been like, praise be to the sky rock, come to destroy us all.
It's like then I would have been like, oh, thank God, the one that I voted for is finally coming.
No, you would have been like the old dude inside the tanker in Waterworld when the flare gets dropped down inside. He goes, "Thank you, God."
Did anybody have any gripes about the movie?
Not really. No.
I just want to know who made Paul a teacher.
Uh,
That guy.
He was in town. He's a scientist. That means you're smart. That means you can be a teacher. Here. You don't have a whole lot of seismic shit to study here, and that's not going to pay your bills. We'll pay you to be a teacher here.
I'm not critiquing his teaching skills. I'm critiquing
What teaching skills?
I'm critiquing the fact that he said, let's take this ghost trap that I just saw something, hollow out, strap it to a car battery, and see how well this works out.
hey, nice replica. Of what?
It's real.
See,
But not only the one problem, actually, this is just a minor thing, is they hooked it up to a car battery. It was still hooked up.
It was not a car battery.
It
That
a
was
bus.
a school bus battery. Those are heavy duty as fuck.
Right. It's still hooked up. The bus is still running. He goes over and touches it. The thing is made of metal. Why did that not send him flying across the parking lot?
Well, he's not a science teacher.
He's a seismologist. That's science.
Well, it wasn't shaking, so he didn't care.
Actually, what I want to know is why didn't he put it on the ground? Because, to keep it
Grounded. It was on top of a car, which was grounded by the rubber
Okay,
tires.
That might have been the reason.
I think that was my favorite line. One of my favorite lines in the movie, though.
You also
Let's
had
get out of
rubber
here.
shoes.
Why, you're an adult. I'm also liable.
Yeah.
What was your favorite scene?
Well, we didn't go around the room about grapes.
Yeah. Well,
Nobody here had a gripe, right?
No.
There.
Okay.
The Ecto 1's tires should have been dry rotted straight through. That's
Yes.
my only gripe.
Okay. That's a very good.
Oh yeah,
point.
all those.
There should have
parts.
been.
No.
And there
They
was
put
still
that
gas
flat-
in
they
that
put-
car?
They put flat tire on that thing.
They what? Oh.
They put that green gel. That's why the tire never.
Yeah, but dry rot's dry rot.
Yeah, sure.
You let a car sit for long enough, that shit would just fall off.
It was definitely
He said
false.
gas. We got
The gas. And,
These
yeah.
are all like
the
minor
Ecto,
shit.
Yeah, the Ecto 1 still had gas, and that he was able to go joyriding around the field without potentially fucking the car up driving
after doing the
through
jump too.
I will argue that one. We don't know what he did while he was repairing said car. Maybe he might put some gas in said car.
He may have had gas.
He's got a
cans.
point.
Now the tires, I can't argue that one. 'Cause
Yeah, that's the only thing I was like, tire and a working battery.
But I do have a
It
question.
would have
for
just
Rose.
all it would have taken is a little bit of a montage showing him replacing the
Do
tires,
we really
and
want
then
to do that '80s training montage?
no, but just like bang bang bang, bing bang boom, and then
Those were the
yeah.
OG tires though, because they had the white rims.
I do have a question for Rhodes. Back in the day with these cars, did they ever go to 120 miles per hour?
Yes.
Really?
Yes,
Yes.
caddies.
I just remember the.
All any V8 or V6 was guaranteed to hit 120.
I just remember a lot
Eventually,
of
not necessarily quickly, but you could get it up
You can
to
get
that
there.
speed.
It can hit up there.
If you have a DeLorean, you're gonna see some shit once it hits 88 miles per hour.
Yeah.
Also, how much more in debt is their poor mom after they destroyed more than half the
You know,
tiny
I
town?
did think about that.
That's a very good point, but
not.
Winst-
Not dead.
Winston
bailed
probably
them out?
probably
Okay.
bailed them out.
Because once he realized what happened, because remember, he was helping paying for the store.
He has
I
a
just
he's
realized.
helping pay for the store.
Wait. Guys, I just realized something. He's the Bruce Wayne of this movie.
Oh my God! Yes.
Wait, no,
He bought the bank.
not Bruce Wayne.
Tony Stark.
What?
Who helped Bruce Wayne with a lot of his tech?
Oh,
Alfred.
Lucius,
He's the Alfred.
no,
No.
Lucius Fox.
Oh.
I know
there
you were
go.
getting there, but he spouted it out. I could sense it. But yeah, he's Lucius Fox, literally. Took over the... When
He has
Bruce
a
left,
global business.
I wonder who the one employee is.
he's techie. His first employee, Lewis.
Well, yeah, he had to
Rick
have got.
Moranis' character. Yeah.
Lewis Tully. Makes sense.
Yep.
Because he was like,
He's-
I got
he's-
nowhere else to go, guys.
He's got he started up the legal department for Winston.
Well, because when you're starting up a business and you're supposed to enterprising and trying to get all this stuff going on, you're going to need a legal.
Mm-hmm.
And there you go.
Yep.
But
Cinched it all together.
yeah, there we
folks.
go. We tying up some loose ends and everything.
That this movie had little.
Very
of.
little, but it was. I don't know what scene I would say was my favorite because the whole movie was
For
so
me,
good.
I think it's when
All of them.
I think my main favorite scene was probably when, like the sister, she had the proton pack, and Wolfhard, he had the Ecto 1, and then they finally meet up in the middle. I'm like, here we go.
Yep.
And then when they started making the toys canon in the movie universe,
Huh?
the little like the
The RC one?
so the RC was one of the toys, and then the gunner seat was one of the toys for the Ecto 1 toy. I don't know which Ecto 1 toy it was, but
I don't think mine had it.
mine
I
was
was
sure
just
shit.
Probably if I had to say was once the boys showed up, and
The band was back together.
everything from that point forward, I was just smiling like the
Ear
whole
to
time.
ear grinning.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, I'm surprised the audience didn't start clapping at that scene because I know that when it comes to Marvel films,
Well, you know, we had like 4 or 5 people were plexing.
Maybe your audience didn't. Mine did.
The people, everyone next to you guys,
yeah,
all the 4 of those people, not a single one of them had those seats. Because the 2 of them that sat on the very end were sitting in our seats when we walked in. And I was like, honey, what seats are we? And she had to pull up the app and it was taking a while to load and the girl was like sitting in the one seat. Boyfriend goes, or whatever, goes, oh, we gotta get up, we gotta go somewhere else. And she's like, oh, just put my feet up. And once the thing comes up, she's putting her chair down and starts to leave and Peanut Gallery looks over and goes, yeah, those were our seats. I'm like, oh, so they just didn't give a shit.
We had a family doing that. They played
Who was
musical
talking?
chairs.
Who shushed the people talking?
that was the row in front of us, a little further down the right.
But who was talking?
I didn't see who was talking, but the person sitting, who somebody had.
It was in the group to the right of you guys, wasn't it?
Yeah.
No.
Because I could hear the talking coming from your direction. I know you guys weren't. I could tell when one of you all was talking.
Well, yeah, because I was sitting there like
Someone was having just like a full blown conversation during a quiet part.
and then shh, and then silence.
Thank God. Oh, I thought for a second that you gotten up and got behind someone.
I have to say my favorite part was when the big bag comes out of the cornfield looking all busted as hell.
Oh, when
that was not kid friendly. That was definitely not kid.
Oh, there was another kid unfriendly part.
There was no blood.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, because
Well, the guy was over. What, like,
Well,
I can do hand motions. Nobody will know what's going on.
well, we're not saying who it was, but they
They had
been
nothing
essentially
wrong with it.
mummified for like 7
I
years.
would say got the jazz treatment, but I digress.
Yeah. But yeah, it was. Oh God! I just got where you were going with that. Stop it. I would say he got more the King Shark treatment.
That's more recent. I was gonna say I was pulling it back together, getting the jazz treatment because you mentioned Michael Bay towards the beginning. Of it.
Okay, there you go.
Oh, I thought
That's
we were
true.
referencing Cowboy Bebop for tomorrow.
Yep. But I think that's going to wrap this up. We're not going to go too much further into this. We're already at like an hour and 15 minutes.
One of the other gripes that I really hated about the reviews, I just had to get this one out. This was just another way to put out more toys and shit. I'm sorry, who had the bigger budget of putting out pointless toys and inventing new things to put out figures and backpacks and promotions for?
Ninja Turtles.
2016. They went in the hole because they couldn't make the money back from their promotional material.
Yeah, this is true. They did go under.
I mean, I
Well,
about to drop $400
merchandising
on
is
that
where
back,
the
so.
real money from the movie is made.
Merchandising.
But how much merchandising have we seen of this other than the few little things at the theater?
Yes.
Well, I have seen. So, do you remember that Bankman figure that I got?
But
you
yeah,
following?
they re-released
No.
those.
No. They have figures of the way they look in the new movie in Afterlife, where they're all old and grayed and shit.
Okay, that's cool.
They also have.
But these are more adult action figures. We're not talking like a whole aisle in Toys R Us.
Actually, Walmart's got new toys for
What up?
Ghostbusters Afterlife. I'll do a section like Ben 10 used to have.
Yeah, it's just
Anyway.
one 4-foot section. This one had like 12 feet.
And it's just like, if you're going to gripe about the merchandising, that's not necessarily the fault of the people that made the movie specifically. That's
Well, people were
that's
trashing-
the fault of the fucking studio.
People have been trashing the director.
Why? He had no say in that.
No, they're trashing the director on this movie.
For what?
Oh, it's
Being the son of the
pandering, or
original?
oh, it's not as good as the first one.
First off, lightning and baller. Second off, shut the fuck up. Third off,
Thank you.
don't trust reviews.
Fourth
Go
off,
watch it.
fourth off, shut the fuck up.
Go watch your own thing, make your own opinion, don't follow cloud mine.
What Zeke just said.
I said
Don't
to get it
listen to
out
fucking
because
critics.
Here's what I'll say. If you
the
don't-
only reason why I was looking at it is because I'm trying to wrap my head around how it's so low.
Right.
61 fucking %.
So what we needed.
That shit's just barely
Well,
out of rotten.
I'm starting to think that it's not us. It's
Clearly.
literally studio execs because they didn't get what they wanted. What they wanted was a basic money montage to 2016 because they're the ones who pushed 2016 on us, and
the fans spoke or didn't speak, and they were clearly heard because we didn't spend money on that horse shit.
Right, and they're kind of still butt sore over that because the studios were promoting it so hard, and yet everyone was like, "We didn't ask for this shit."
Nope.
And we didn't. We didn't want that.
There was one good thing that came out of 2016.
Ghostbusters 3.
What we wanted...
Ecto Cooler came back.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that was the only thing that was good, and...
I may have bought a lot of Ecto Cooler and those Twinkies when they came out. Because I'm
kind of shocked they didn't do that again for this one.
I'm shocked that I did not see anything Twinkie, because
shit for promotion.
I would have had, once again, done overkill, and I would have bought over $400 worth of Twinkies.
Well,
and we would have been sitting there in the movie theater munching on Twinkies.
Yeah, I would be throwing Twinkies to, hey, who needs Twinkies? I got them.
if we're going off of reviews, 7.8 on IMDb, 61 on Rotten Tomatoes, 47 on Metacritic.
Everybody on IMDb.
That's really low for Metacritic.
So the thing comes down to it, like we were about to say, go watch your own opinion, make your own opinion.
Go watch the movie and make your own opinion.
If you don't want to spend the $15 on a ticket, take it to your local, like, was it dollar store movie theater, like we have over here.
Yeah,
cheap seats.
Yeah. Go see it in a matinee, and pay less for it.
Matinee or cheap day.
I mean, literally from what I've observed, everyone, normal people who have gone out to see this, are absolutely loving it to
95% from audience.
Loving it to death.
Yeah.
It's just the corporate bigwigs who
And that's the worst part. We're
people.
not going to get that little sticker on the fucking steel book that I'm inevitably going to buy.
The Rotten Tomato score one, the certified fresh one.
Yep.
I do love the fact, one of the things I came across
How does
was,
Dune Part 1 get an 89%?
Because it's a good movie.
Yeah,
It's really good.
It's a really good movie, but at the same time, I'm like, okay, I can sit here and compare both of them. And literally, one is Love Letter, and the other one is a true adaptation of the novel. Right. Now, between the two, the thing that will always strike everyone is a love letter to the original.
Especially for the fans like us who grew
up with it and can take their kids to go see it. And we are the ones who are paying that money for it. And as we finish off, it'll be the younger generation that comes later on to watch it towards the
I actually have that.
Yeah.
A little bit later in. So
yeah, there's
literally
next to no promotion.
You can tell it's literally the studio did not get the way they want, and they're trying to sink it because they want it their way. Mm-hmm. And their way was, we are supposed to have a whole set of other Ghostbusters carrying us into the future. And their choice for Ghostbusters was a fucking flop.
Yep. But we're not going to talk about 2016 anymore.
Because there was no Ghostbusters in 2016.
In my research, I did watch the interview of the red carpet, and they actually had people walking out of the theaters crying in tears. Yeah. So that just says how good this movie is.
Exactly.
Love letter, people.
We are now going to wrap this up. No more quarters into the jukebox.
Road Pig will stay silent.
As we have said, this is really, really good. If you enjoyed the first Ghostbusters, go see this movie. If you haven't seen the first Ghostbusters,
what the hell is wrong with you?
First, watch the original Ghostbusters and the original 1984 Ghostbusters. There are plenty of options out there for you to see it. Then, go see Ghostbusters Afterlife.
And afterwards, slap yourself for not seeing the original Ghostbusters when you had the chance the first time.
Yep. But that is going to wrap things up for this edition of the BingeCast. There will be more content coming from us this weekend. Stay tuned for that. But for Sam and Chris, Zeke and The Road, I am Jay, and we will see you next time. Thanks for listening to the Bored to Death BingeCast. Be sure to check out our library of past podcasts via CKCC Radio or via our YouTube channel, and give us a like and subscribe. We'll see you after our next binge.